Carter and I am 15 years old.
What is Carter? Editing. Bobby so. Wait.
I'm Madeline Carter, I'm 17.
I'm Stella Carter and I'm 7. I'm Stella Carter and I'm 9. Woo!
Good morning and happy Sunday. You heard Ron and Loretta say last night that they got married at Old St. James. When it was here, it was just a small little church behind me. It's a reminder to us of our roots and where we come from. One of the great joys for me during this time of the COVID virus is an exploration of the third commandment, keep holy the Lord's Day. Most of us who are watching understand the obligation to attend Mass on Sunday. Our bishop has relieved us of that because of the difficulties that he sees in us gathering at Mass in a community while having social distancing. So while we found many other ways to be able to pray and go to Mass, what we've also discovered is the great meaning of Sunday. It's called to be a day of charity, a day of rest, a day of reflection, a day for our family. There are no baseball games, there are no football games, there's no soccer matches going on. There are so many of the distractions that are not normally there, gone. And so we gather and we read from St. Justin Martyr from the 1st century. We hold our common assembly on Sunday because it is the first day of the week, the day in which God put darkness and chaos to flight and created the world. And because on that same day our Savior Jesus Christ rose from the dead. For he was crucified on Friday, and on Sunday he appeared to his apostles and disciples, and taught them the things that we have passed on for your consideration. I ask all of us to consider, what have we learned during this time? Have you reclaimed Sunday? Have you reclaimed a prayer life in your home? As people all over the country start to talk about opening back up, will you be able to keep the good that you have gathered during this time as we move forward? Listen to our friends this day.
Can I get you really quickly to just restate the part about soccer games, football games?
Sure. During this time, we've been able to explore other parts of Sunday. We know that we have this obligation to attend Mass, which has been relieved by our bishop during this time while our churches are closed. But the teaching on Sunday is much deeper of keeping the Lord's Day holy. We are called to be a day of rest, a day of charity, a day with our families, a day for contemplation. During this time, we haven't had the distraction of football games, of baseball games, of soccer matches. What we've had is peace. A peace that was promised to us by Jesus Christ.
So a few days before the whole quarantine started, I had been praying because I was so overwhelmed. I had so much going on. I was like, Lord, just help me out. Like, I don't know what to do. And so a few days later, in fact, that was over the weekend, on Monday, everything just shut down. Everything stopped, everything I volunteered for, I didn't need to worry about, I didn't have to work. And I decided, you know what, I have a very successful business on the side that I do, but I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stop that too. I wanna spend my time with my family. It's not very often that everybody's home. Well, there's 8 of us upstairs, and then we have a couple people downstairs in the basement, and it's been fantastic. My big kids are home. Mike's home, working from home. We get to spend, I mean, we homeschool, so we're together a lot, but not with all the other distractions. And so it's been amazing, actually, to just reset and reprioritize and just spend time together as a family, doing puzzles and, building a fence and just doing things that we didn't have time to do before. So.
So you have two of your adult children home with you, right?
Yes, I do.
So what is it like having your adult children home as long as your littler ones?
I actually am loving it because I feel like they're never here. And so just in the morning to have them walk downstairs and to see them and have them spending time at home without all the other things they have going on, I've really enjoyed it. So every Friday night for the past several years since we've had Perpetual Adoration, Mike and I have had our Friday night date at 10 p.m. We go to Adoration and we sit and pray together just for an hour. It's our date night. So when the church was shut down, we no longer had that. So the person, Sharon, who's in charge of Perpetual Adoration, put a message out, hey, we'd like to do a perpetual rosary. So meaning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's someone always praying the rosary, which I thought, fantastic idea. So I signed up for 10:40 every morning. So no matter what I'm doing, and Mike reminds me because I'm not real good, 10:40 every day. It's like, Shauna, did you do your rosary? I'm like, I'm doing it. So every day I've just sat quietly and prayed my rosary at 10:40 every morning, and prayed for all my intentions, and it's been really nice because I have done it. But I thought I was going to be doing it with the family, but then the first day I did it by myself, and I was like, it's kind of nice to have some solitude when I pray it. So I'm a clinical instructor for a college in Maryland, and I've been doing it for 13 years. So I was getting a little burnt out, and that was one of the things I was praying about. So, of course, the college, everything's shut down. Well, the students still, they're getting ready to graduate, the ones that I teach. So I did my first clinical group in the hospital and really struggled and got through it, and it was fine. But then they shut everything down. Well, now the students are having to do all their learning on the computer, which is all new for them. And they still have to do the same paperwork that they were doing. So now what I'm doing is I'm grading their paperwork from home and providing feedback to them and trying to help them in their training without actually seeing patients. So it's a whole shift in how we train them, but hopefully they'll still be well prepared to care for patients, which they'll be doing sooner than they realize because they won't even need to be licensed at this point to start practicing. So it's a whole shift, and it's actually renewed my passion for teaching because I was at a point where I was just overwhelmed.
So November a couple of years ago,
November 2018.
I fell going in the bedroom and ended up in the hospital for
2 months.
2 months. And it turned out that I had Parkinson's and some other stuff. And so I've had, going back to work at first, when I was first supposed to go, I struggled because I couldn't even open a spreadsheet. And it's been a challenge mentally and physically because I can get sick on the dime. Like if I get a cold, I might not be able to walk the next day or the next 2 days. So it puts a lot of pressure on my wife, on Ellen, and and the kids, because Mary takes care of Sissy a lot when Daddy can't do stuff, and she's doing a great job as a big sister. Getting breakfast and stuff like that. Especially this week when I was downstairs and when I had a cold and I couldn't walk up the stairs, but now I'm moving along pretty good, and but it's an up and down battle.
So is this time with the coronavirus and isolation, has that made it worse for you, Tim?
No, actually, it makes it easier for me to work at home. I'm lucky in the fact that I work on computers, and my job is letting me work from home. I was one of the first people allowed to do that because of my condition. But it allows me to, even though I can still put in a lot of hours, it's less stressful on my body. It's less, I'm around less germs in general. Even forget about the the coronavirus. Any kind of common cold can take me out for a couple of days. And then I get the blessing of when it's not a meeting that has, say, super high officials in it. My assistant here, Miss Ellie Bear, she comes down in the office with me. She does her numbers and letters and stuff like that, and sometimes she talks with my manager when we're on a phone call and stuff like that. And it's fun because the family gets to go and be involved in everything.
I have seen such a great blessing in having him home, because now I don't have to worry if I have to stay home with the girls, if they, heaven forbid, get sick and he has to drive the car. Well, I don't have to worry about him going off the road because of, motion issues, or if he gets sick at work, he has to also drive himself home, and his demeanor is better. He's not stressed, a lot of the times. And he looks the best that he's looked in the last 2 years, and I'm so blessed and grateful for that. And he puts in 10 to 12-hour days still, but it's the nature of his work, and it's so much better for the family. Like he said, the girls can come down and harass him, and I can harass him. I'm the Washington High School librarian now, and it's a strange year because this is the first year that I became the librarian, and I don't have the 150 students that I'm used to. I have whoever comes into the media center, and I miss those kids. I miss our conversations. I am more now like a life lessons teacher. I think I've given a lot of advice about relationships in college and how to search and those types of things, which I think are more meaningful for me now.
Within the theme of going on with the coronavirus, where we changed from our morning prayers, where we would when we would drive the girls into to school, we would all say, Our Father, the Hail Mary. We would pray for other people and ask for our needs, but it was a little less powerful, I think, than what some of these are. And then we got it on, we use a lot of Amazon Music, and so there's this one version of it, which is, there's a couple versions, it seems like, of how people say the Divine Mercy Chaplet, which is very similar to how I say it, but it's I think it's a husband and wife that sing it. And Mary and I used to do that together when she was younger. And so when I said we wanted to start doing the Divine Mercy, she goes, Daddy, can you find the singing one? And it even keeps Elizabeth, as on track as humanly possible.
Yeah.
It's been pretty fun. It's been a roller coaster.
I hate
It definitely gets old, and
it's named
we get bored of each other a lot, I think.
Parts of it I think have been fun, but then sometimes I feel like we definitely do get sick of each other sometimes now and again. But definitely when we're all outside together, it is pretty fun. I think it was Madeline's idea originally.
Yeah.
But we all really did help, and Charlotte and Jonna, we told them they collected flowers and put them in a jar, and Stella helped with the fort as well, and I did the roof. We all really just helped in general. It was just fun to do.
Sometimes you get annoyed with each other. So tell me how you get over annoyance when you have 5 sisters.
Usually I go downstairs to my room and I draw or listen to music, but usually just alone time helps.
Yeah. Like she said, I like to listen to music and play the piano when I get a little bit frustrated at sisters.
There was a project I started working on underneath the stairs. I've painted a mural in this little room under the stairs, so I've been going down there and working on it whenever I need a break.
I've been going into my room and listening to music and playing with my dolls.
So what's it been like not being able to have your friends over?
It gets lonely, I think. I get to miss them.
With 5 sisters, it gets lonely?
Ironic, isn't it?
So what's it been like having your mom and dad home with you every day?
It's definitely been more helpful. I feel like it's been been nice having my dad not go to work as much. But yeah, my mom's been a
Mommy,
lot of
you go
help
to
with
work?
school and just for everyone, I think.
I do miss going to mass with everyone else because we get to see more friends and because it feels like a big church family. And I guess we have more time to pray alone when we're not allowed at church.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't exactly feel the same watching mass on the TV than it does going, because you don't feel like the presence quite as much as you do when you're there.
It's like watching all your friends play outside while you have to stay inside.
We work well together. We usually are never home all together for so long, and we're a good team. We get things done. They've helped unpack the house. We get to watch family movies together that we usually don't watch. We play games. It's been very good for all of us to end together.
For me, there's an aspect of it that feels natural, rather than everybody the normal routine of everybody leaving then coming back at the end of the day. The new routine has been everybody's doing school, or in my case doing work, or in Angela's case doing work and helping the kids, and then at the end of the day, immediately when the work is finished, everybody comes together, and it feels natural, it feels normal. I could get used to this.
We read in Genesis, whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures of every kind on earth. I was blessed in September to go on pilgrimage to Niagara Falls, Ontario. And when I was on the pilgrimage, I was there to see the national sign to St. Therese of Lisieux. St. Therese has had a huge impact in my life. Her parents, Zélie and Louis, saints, have also had a big impact. But what happened that day when I was there, I got a chance to go to Mass in the little church next to where her shrine is. It's the shrine to Our Lady of Peace in Canada. It was inaugurated as that title in 1861 as the United States was drifting into civil war to help prevent the same civil war from coming to Canada. You see, from that church, when you look out the front doors, what happens is the rainbow is perpetually there. As long as the sun is out in any way, that we see this gift of the rainbow, that ribbon promised by God that peace would come. I remember that the rainbow was given by God as a promise of peace, a promise of fidelity. He also gave us the gift of Sunday, a day of peace, a day of contemplation, a day to grow closer to Him. We as Christians have been challenged to reclaim our faith, to reclaim those Christian symbols, those Christian traditions, those Catholic identities that we have let drift away. When eventually we come out of this virus season, will we take the goodness of truly observing all that Sunday has for us with us? Because those in Charlestown did at one time, which is how the church grew and this addition was put on, and how we would eventually come down this alley and we would walk to New St. James, those 2 miles, because the faith continued to grow. It's time to start growing.